I've just been on this kick. Like, I want to share my journey to $1 million, and then my journey from $1 million from crossing the $1 million mark to multiple millions of dollars. And there's a reason why I'm doing that. I'm going to share a lot of that today, but I'm also doing a masterclass called Making Millions, where I'm literally like pulling the curtain back to let you see what I did inside of my business to get there and how simple it can be for you to do it as well. And so here's what I feel like I'm doing. I'm kicking this year off with what I like to call the $1 million truth. What I'm sharing is what I didn't have to do to create millions in my business. I'm sharing what I didn't have to do to create millions because there's so many things I hear people saying. Like, I hear so many conversations with people about how some people just don't want to do $1 million business because they don't want to be crazy running around like a chicken with their head cut off. They want to live their life. They want to just be comfortable and not be stressed out and, be focused on driving and adrenaline rushing. And what I hear in that, and everybody's like, yeah, that's cool. And what I hear in that is that you can't have both. You can't create $1 million business and have spaciousness and ease and flexibility of your life and enjoy life. You have to give up something if you're running $1 million business or a multi-million-dollar business. And I am here to be the example that that is not the truth. A lot of times I share my wins and people will say things like, well, I'd like to see your calendar. And it's because they only have one frame of reference. And that frame of reference is their current calendar. Like, they're not making $1 million and they're already running around like a chicken with their head cut off. So how in the world could you possibly create millions and do that? Show me how. And so that is what I'm doing. I want to show you how. I'm exposing the misconceptions about what it takes to build a multi-million-dollar business. And my Making Millions masterclass is a peek behind what I'm calling the wizard's curtain, right? And the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy and the Scarecrow and the 10 men were going to meet the wizard who was going to save them from everything, show them all the things, right? And they get there and they think it's the great and powerful Oz, the great and powerful wizard. And they find out it's just the little man behind the curtain pushing buttons and using a microphone. And if you watch The Wiz, it's Richard Pryor pushing buttons and using the microphone. And then they get disheartened, right? Well, I don't want you to be disheartened. What I want you to see is you can be the wizard too. I want to show you what's happening behind the wizard's curtain, because until someone showed me, I didn't know what was possible, because I too believed it had to be hard, that you had to give up your life, that you would not have enough profit, all of those things that people buy into that tells them, you know what, maybe I don't want to have a multi-million-dollar business. And here's what I know. I know that money in the hands of good people is what's going to shift this planet. So I want you to have as much money as you possibly can have. I want to create as many millionaires as I can possibly help to create, because you can do more good with money than you can without it. End of story. Bottom line. Your heart can be in the right place, but without cold hard cash, it's difficult to make a huge difference like you desire to. So in Making Millions, I will be sharing the strategy for my content so that you can see the way I can continually attract people who actually can pay me what I'm asking to be paid. The strategy for how I sell in order for me to make consistent sales and to sell when I'm ready to sell, all of those things. The strategy for how I upgrade clients, how I cross-sell different programs, how I downsell people and upsell. There's a strategy to all of that. There's a reason why you don't see me marketing all of my programs at once and all kinds of things. And I'm going to talk about that and how I make those decisions. I'm going to be sharing with you the strategy for selling multiple things at one time, because you can sell more than one thing at one time. People are like, focus, just do one thing. There's a time for that. And there's a time where it's okay to do multiple things. And I'm going to share with you how I make those decisions as well, because that allows me to continually make money over and over again. And just recently, I've just gotten to this point. I haven't been the kind of person who makes money every day. You hear people talk about this all the time. And some of you guys haven't even crossed 6 figures yet, and you're focused on trying to make money every day. And I was just talking to one of my coaches about this morning, how this is the first time. There's 2 things that are happening to me for the first time. I'll share one of them a little bit later, but this is the first time that I'm actually selling a low dollar product, and I'm in Making Millions. I'm going to share how I made that decision and why I've always reversed that pyramid and not started with low. I start with high end because it allows me to do what I'm doing right now. And the first time we're coming out the gate, selling something low end, we make a sale every single day. I'm literally making money every day, but I became a multi-million-dollar business owner without making sales every day. And so that's what I want to open up and share with you. It gets to be however you decide it gets to be. I'm going to share with you my strategy for stacking payments, which is how I've been able to collapse time and keep quantum leaping my income again and again and again. The strategy for what I offer, how I offer, when I offer it, how I decide what the price is going to be, all of that stuff so that you can see it. I am at the point where we create multiple six-figure cash months because of these strategies and because of the inside game, because of what I'm calling wealth energetics that I've been mastering for over 7 years now. We're working on like 8 years of having the knowledge of this and how it works and shifting myself from the inside out, because it is an inside game and it's an outside game. You need both. You need both strategy and these mindset, energetics, capacity, leadership, both of these. And the strategies that I've mastered, they can work for anybody. The skill set is transferable. My results, they are replicable. So here's the deal. You can sit by and watch. People are like, I've been watching you for a long time. You can continue to watch me rise, or you can join me and learn from me. If you're listening to the recording, just go to bit.ly/making millions. You have to capitalize each word because bit.ly is caps, or can't remember what I mean, but it's specific with how you type the word. So bit.ly/making millions masterclass is where you want to go. Right now, Making Millions is $222. It will end up at $555. And I'm not going to dive into like details on trying to like convince you to do that. It's the lowest price investment for anything I've ever done. And if you've ever been even in my free content, you know that I deliver well and I focus on making sure people can get some transformation and some results from even the things that I'm going to share. Now, this is not me teaching you how to become a millionaire. It's showing you what I do and what I have done so that you can make informed decisions for yourself instead of just listening to what other people say about what it takes, especially people who are telling you this stuff that haven't even done it. They're just basing it on the people that they know that have been stressed out or who have lost their shit while trying to build $1 million business. And there is another way. When I began to put myself in proximity to people who were having six-figure months, I had my first six-figure month. And now six-figure months are my normal. It's no longer a dream. It's no longer something I'm striving for. I had a conversation. It was a quick messenger conversation with someone who runs an event that I go to every year. And the first year she ran this event, which is for leaders, I remember making a declaration, very scared to do it and loud in the room, that I wanted to have my first six-figure month. I wasn't even trying to do multiple. I just hadn't done it yet. And this was like 5 years ago. And so she sent me the notification that our event was coming up for this year. And as I began to read it, because she said, it's been 5 years, like this is the fifth one. Can you believe it? Tears started to stream down my face because I remember sitting in that room and deciding that a six-figure month was possible. And realizing as I was reading that in the last 90 days or so, I've had $1 million month, when 5 years ago, the decision was a six-figure month. And proximity is what changed things for me. When I began to put myself into proximity of the people who were having $1 million months, I had my first $1 million month, right? And my first $1 million month was 2 years ago. But this year we did $1 million day, or last year we did $1 million in a day. One of the biggest lessons that I've unlocked for myself is that rapid transformation and exponential growth happens when you put yourself in proximity. When you see someone that you can identify with and are connected to that has done what you're trying to do, it makes it doable for yourself. Think about Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile. No one thought a 4-minute mile was possible. No one was even thinking about trying to do one. And this man runs a 4-minute mile. And now 4 minute is like the benchmark for those who are elite athletes, who are track and field stars, who run, the distance runners, right? If you run a 4-minute mile, you're incredible and you're amazing, but it never been done before. And so what I want to do is, for some of you, I am that possibility. Like I'm Roger Bannister in your world because there's no one around you. I didn't have anyone around me, right? When I began to see people who were literally like no brainer doing $1 million months, I had my first $1 million month. And it's one of the biggest lessons I unlocked for myself. One thing I know is that it took courage for me to play at that level. That $1 million month container was a 6-figure investment for me. Container where I was surrounded by people, and I'm still in it today. This is my second year in, who are easily doing $1 million, chartering private jets all the time. Like that's just their way of life, was a 6-figure investment. And I remember sitting there, the offer had been made to me at an event that I was at. I'll be honest. And I walked away because my brain could not fathom making that investment at that time. So I jumped into a lower end container. And when I was in this lower end container with this same mentor, I realized that that container wasn't for me. It wasn't what I needed to get me to the next level. So I called them and I said, I never do this. And I don't. If you know me, you know, I pay every bill that I have. I don't care who it is. I don't care if I don't get anything out of it. You will get paid, because that's just how I stand in integrity with how I make investments, because I expect the same with me. I talk to them and I say, I just made a mistake. Like I thought this would support me in this way, this way, this way, and it wouldn't. And it didn't, and it isn't. And I don't ever do this, but I really would like to pull out. And I think I was like 30 days into it, realized it just wasn't a good fit. And so I get on the conversation with him and he introduces this program. He's like, have you heard about this XYZ program? This is the 6-figure investment. And I'm like, yeah, I heard about it. And I'll be honest with you. You said it at your event. And I was like, not for me, not doing it. I got scared. And so we continued to have this conversation. And it ended up that I ended up making the investment. I ended up making the investment within, I don't know, 45 days, I think 45 to 60 days, I'd already made almost $400,000, like $350,000. That year, about 6 months later, 5 or 6 months later, I had my first $1 million month. That took courage, right? It required me to decide and play on a different level. So putting yourself in proximity in high level containers, intimate containers at an investment that scares the crap out of you is one way to signal to the world, to the universe, to everything that you're trying to do, every effort you ever put in, I'm ready to receive. It caused me to show up in a different way. The bigger you play, the bigger you win. The bigger you play, the bigger you win. Now, no one's telling you to go out and make a 6-figure investment. Heck, the Millions Masterclass isn't even a 6-figure investment. It's a couple of $100. But if you want to get there and you want to collapse time and get there, you've got to beckon yourself to play a much bigger game. The bigger you play, the bigger you win. If you choose to play small in life, in business, you will never, and you can mark my word, experience true greatness. You'll experience the greatness that you experience right now, where everybody around you is clapping because they are like, oh my gosh, you are the man, you are the woman, you are doing it, and doing it well. They look at you and they're like, no, she is the standard. He is the standard. But you know, and I know, you are only scratching the surface, barely scratching the surface. You are not accomplishing anywhere near what you are capable of. That's the truth that you know inside. So if you choose to continue to play small in life, you will never experience true greatness, what's possible for you. Your next level will never be activated. And like I said before, you can keep watching me rise, trying to reverse engineering what I'm doing from afar, or you can grab a seat at the table and learn how I do it. When I look back over the past few years, it blows my freaking mind. And I'm actually going to go back to that first 6-figure month year. So we're going to go back in millions. We're going to go back 5 years, I think 4 years of financial, so I can show you what it looks like, because I want you to see the truth of what it takes to create it. Because some of you guys are so steep in fantasy that you're on track and then you take yourself off track because what you see doesn't match what you think it's supposed to look like. It blows my freaking mind how I've created millions in such a simple way, especially for a little Black girl who grew up with a story, and some of you guys may resonate with this, that you have to work extra hard and outwork everyone to make money. to make it in the world, to be successful. I used to make it so hard. And in reality, once I got on the inside of the wizard's curtain, I was like, wait a minute, this is all y'all doing? And it turned out to be so freaking simple. Here's the deal. What is possible for you is more than you can even fathom. And I want to talk about how to call it in. That's what we're doing. We're going to talk about how to call in that more than you can fathom, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That's what I want. More than you can ask or even think or imagine. That's what I want to talk about. Today, though, I want to up-level you. I want to up-level you by sharing 2 traps to avoid on your journey to the $1 million level. And I've kind of alluded to one of them. The first trap that I want to gift you with today is $1 million scaling trap, the $1 million growth trap. Most people who actually do get to 6 figures in their business, whether that's 6 or multiple 6 figures, we're just going to call it 6 figures because it's still 6 figures, whether it's 100,000 or 600,000 or 700,000, it's still 6 figures. Most people who make it to 6 figures in their business never scale to 7 figures. They don't get there. And the people who do get there, they don't get there again. Why? So most 6-figure business owners, to get to 6 figure, most people get to 6 figures by sheer brute force. Take a deep breath, because I know a lot of you are doing this. It's by sheer force of will. It's by driving and working and doing all the things, which is why some of the people that I see posting on social media talking about how hard it is to maintain and create a 6-figure business, because that's what they're doing to create their multiple 6-figure businesses. So they can't see it any other way. It would have to be double the work and double the everything. Most people get there by hustling and grinding into the wee hours of the night, being on #team_no_sleep. They're weekend warriors. They work all through the weekend. They just get it in when they can fit in. You get what I'm saying. Most people get there by focusing on tactics that work temporarily, but that change over time, instead of the foundational principles of business, because people have been selling and buying in the world for centuries. Business is not a new concept. The internet and the things that we do, these are all new concepts. And guess what? All of those things, technologies will come and go. So what you need is a stable foundation underneath you. You need to understand the basics, the strategies, the skill sets necessary to be a CEO of a company and to actually run a business, so that no matter what strategy or tactic you choose, whether they come or they go, your business is not blowing with every wind of doctrine. Yeah, I'm a church girl. Right? Your business can withstand that. I already lost one business. I learned the hard way. That's why this time I did it differently. And again, in Millions, I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I make decisions that allow me to withstand the test of time. It is why my first $1 million month was during COVID. I was not following the strategies and tactics that everybody else was doing, because I understand business and the way that it works. Most people don't get there because they don't even have a strategy around their sales systems. They don't have a strategy around their business foundations and models. They don't have a strategy around their offers. They think they do because they're just mimicking what everybody else is doing. You need your strategy that works for you, your way. It doesn't matter that somebody else is selling a $997 to a $1997 none of that matters. You need a foundation that will withstand the test of time. An understanding of how your offers flow into one another, not because somebody drew you a pyramid and said this is the way it has to be done, but because that's the way you desire to do it and it works for you. So most people don't even have those strategies in place. They get on sales calls and they just chat it up with people and hope they're going to buy. There's no systems. And systems doesn't mean a lot of technology. It just means a way that you do a thing that can be passed down to your team when you get a team. This is the way that everybody experiences this process. We do it this way all the time, over and over and over again, even if it's manual. A system is still a system. Most people, again, they get there by sheer will, and they never take time to learn how to shift out of that doing energy, that go, 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 I'm running the business, I am the business, into a true CEO role. Want to know why you only made $300,000 last year or $700,000 last year? Because you are a $300,000 or $700,000 CEO. That's where your mindset is. That's where your activity is. It's at that level. In one of Tyler Perry's shows, I can't remember which one it is, Mr. Brown's talking about being a millionaire. And he says, I'm 100 at. That's what it is, because that's the mindset you have. That's where your focus is. You're going to create. And I see people who create the same result every year. They do $700,000. I'm like, you're $300,000 away. How does that happen? Because there's a shift in decision making. There's a shift in how you show up, right? When you're staying stuck in the weeds of your business, or you're so lost in client work that you let your sales and your marketing get behind you, right? You think you can outsource everything without knowing how those systems and those things are supposed to work. And then you wonder why your team doesn't work out for you. You end up doing way too many things that are way outside of your zone of genius. And what happens is, because it's outside of your zone of genius, it takes more of your time and effort, and it actually has less impact in your business. And here's the thing. Just because it's outside of your genius doesn't mean you have to outsource it. And that's something I'm going to talk about, right? Sometimes you can just leave it alone until it's time to pick it up again. And that's literally what I did with so many things, right? I'm not a systems technology kind of girl. And so we put like grassroots basic technology together, didn't complete any of the back end complicated pieces of it until we crossed $1 million. We focused on the things that I was really, really good at, that the team was really, really good at, and we did them well. We have systems around those things, and they work like well-oiled machines. And again, I'll talk about that during the Millions class. One of the key reasons why people don't play at the $1 million level, even if they hit six figures, you think it's logical. Well, I hit $500,000 this year, or I hit 300,000 this year, I should be able to double it or triple it. And most people can't do it because they're making decisions from where they are now versus where they want to be. They can only see what's in front of them. When I made that decision to make that six-figure investment, I had to decide from the place that I desired to be. How did I do that? Because when I looked at my bank account, I had $50,000 in the bank. And that decision said, don't make that investment right now, because that's more than what you have in the bank. But from where I wanted to be said, there's no way in hell I'm not going to make more money to put that in. Like, I'm on a growth trajectory. I am deciding to grow. So I said yes, and I did, right? And what was said to me is like, even if you don't make money all the way up until October, which I knew there was no way in hell that was going to happen, you'd be okay to pay this bill. And that was enough to like anchor you're making a decision from where you are, not where you desire to be. Making decisions from that space is a whole nother level. I can't go into that right now, but we will be talking about it on the Millions class. And I'm going to be opening up so you guys can ask me any questions that you want about how I think, how I decide, what that looked like for me, what it felt like for me. How do I do that again and again and again? Because it's not about putting yourself out there where you have too much on the line. Like, it wasn't about me, like, you have to invest at $1 million in order to make $1 million. It wasn't that. It's a different space. Right? And I think the thing that a lot of people are missing is they lack the mentorship, the leadership, the coaching from someone who's not only been there and done that, but it has also helped other people do it. And not just in your industry, but across industries. Like, that's the thing. Like, for me, my clients are from all kinds of different industries. I've been in all kinds of different industries. So I'm pulling on knowledge from all kinds of places. My clients always laugh. They're like, man, you're like the mom with the big purse. You just, every time I ask something, you're like, oh, and this, and I have this experience, and I have that experience. And so what's happening is we have this revolving door of people teaching the same processes to other people, then learning those people's processes, and then teaching those processes to other people, but they lack real leadership. And they lack the ability to actually mentor people because they haven't walked the path. And because mentorship requires two things, not just you walking the path, actually mentoring other people through it with some level of success. And then those same people who are trying to figure it all out on their own choose to stay small. They make decisions every day that keep them playing small. Choose to be sidetracked by shiny objects, tactics, the latest, greatest social media trends, instead of learning how to build a real company, a dynasty that will far outlast you. And I know I'm digging deep with some people. I always say, if you can't say amen, say ouch. That's what they used to say in church. And here's the deal. Don't worry about it. I used to do the same thing. I was like, oh, I got to do a webinar. Oh, I got to do instant teleseminar. Oh, I got to have Infusionsoft. I was doing all of those things because people were feeding me that and telling me that was what was required to build a successful business. That's why it took me a long time. That was me for a long time. And what I've learned is that there are 50, 1,100 million ways to do a thing. You just have to choose the one that's for you. You don't have to do them all. It gets to be simple. And again, I'm going to show you how simple it can be during making millions. Trap number 2. This is the money trap, but it's a different money trap. It's the money celebration trap. Falling into this. See, my ideal clients, the ones who can really break the $1 million mark because they have pretty much accomplished everything they've ever put their minds to in their lives. And they've done it faster than most people around them. And for some, faster than humanly possible. Yeah, that's you. Most of your life, because you achieve so well and so vastly and so often, you have been made to feel bad about celebrating your accomplishments. And so what happens when you get in business is you are excited about closing a $50,000 deal or a $5,000 deal, and you have no outlet and nowhere to share because you are having the trauma response or the trigger. I don't want to use the word trauma response. You're triggered by the memory of people saying to you, oh yeah, we expected you to win that award. Of course you did. Like, it's not a big deal. And so what happens is you start to suppress when you start to succeed. And then the only thing that you're looking at is what's next. So you do something incredible, like have a 6-figure month, and you're like, can I do it again? Oh my gosh, I got to keep it up. I got to keep focused instead of being in the energy of celebrating it. Listen, this is one of my greatest gifts that I give to my clients who work with me that changes the game for them. I know I talk about money a lot. I'm talking about it right now, but I do it for a few reasons. First, I do it because I'm continually collapsing time around how quickly my own money celebrations happen in my life. And sometimes I feel a little torn. Like, should I be sharing this? Because I know there's people in the world who don't even have access to the kind of money that I make. Like the first week of January, we made 6 figures in the first 4 days of January. Most people will never see 6 figures in a year. I get that. It's real for me. I understand that. And so what comes up for me is like, don't share that. You've already celebrated you just told people you had $1 million month and that you did $1.8 million in like 60 days. Do you have to tell them that you just had a 6-figure, first couple of days into the year? People will think that you're only focused on money. People will think that you're only focused on yourself. They'll find that you're not relatable. They'll think that you're just bragging or find you annoying. Like, I have all these conversations in my head. People are going to start asking you for money, right? All of this kind of stuff. And I have this tiny moment where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, should I actually share this? Should I share it or should I not share it? And I go back and forth about what to do. And here's what I realize. Not only are those milestones important to me, because I've had plenty of times where there was no money in the bank. I've had plenty of times where people didn't purchase my offers. I've had plenty of times where I've had crickets. I've had plenty of moments like that. So they are important to me. They are important for me to share. But I also know that it's important for other people to see what's possible for them. Right? I am proud of the things that I do. I'm excited and I want to share. Like, I literally run around my house, and if my daughter's here, I'll yell with her. But I have one son who's still at home, and he knows when I run in there, he'll just take off his headphones because he's playing his PS5, and he'll let me just share what just happened because I'm super excited and I truly want to share, not for any reason other than to celebrate myself, not to prove anything to you. That, oh, look at me, you can do it too, or to show off, not to do it for any reason other than to show you that, look, it's possible. I don't do it because other people are doing it. I do it because I see the potential for each and every one of us. I see the potential for myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this year, this January is the first January in my entire business career that I had a January where I'm literally on track to do what I said I was going to do, set my goal for the year. So I set a goal for $1 million. We did not do $80,000 in January, the year I crossed $1 million. Right? I don't even think we did $83,333 in the first quarter in any given month. This is the first time ever. I'm excited about that. And I'm sharing it because I see the potential, right? And here's the thing. I want you to see it and feel it for yourself. I didn't have somebody who looked like me, and you can choose whatever part of me that resonates with you. I'm a driven girl. Maybe you're a driven girl. I got chocolate skin. Maybe you got chocolate skin. I'm a girl. I'm a female, period. Right? I'm a God girl. I love Jesus. End of story. Right? That's just who I be. So there was not someone who looked like me in any of the spaces I was in that I could relate to until I got a glimpse of one person. And I realized that that one person opened up possibility for me, and it changed everything. And I thought to myself, I have to be that for others. I choose to be that for others. I decide to be that for others. I want to be the, if I can, you can. If I can do it, you can do it. And here's the deal. I don't want to rise alone. I'm not trying to be the queen sitting at the top of the kingdom, telling all the little peons that you'll never arise to where I am. I turn my clients into my peers every day. I show everything that I do, not what I do that's 5 steps behind me. I open the curtain and show because I want to rise with other powerful women by my side. I want to rise with other heartfelt people by my side. I want to rise with people-focused humans by my side. I want to rise with God-loving people by my side. I want us to do this together. I had this revelation after the George Floyd incident. There I am talking about it like everybody else. After George Floyd was killed and murdered in front of everybody and on camera, so many Black people, people of color, and non-people of color who were outraged were just getting into the activism of trying to share about this journey that I live in the skin that I'm in. This is my life. And I want to be clear. This is not made up stuff. Like I literally, my event planner was like losing her stuff and like in tears because I was denied the ability to stay out of place because of the color of my skin. That's a whole nother story. We may talk about that one day. I may bring her on and we can talk about it. But it's just the truth. It doesn't matter how much money I make or how I elevate. I still walk around in my skin. And so when all of this was going on, I didn't know what to do because I'm not an activist in that way. And I woke up one Sunday morning with this resounding knowing in my spirit that this thing that I do every day, my business, it is my activism. My business, it is my ministry. My business is what I've been put on the planet to do. Because I truly believe that money in the hands of good people is what is going to change everything. It's how we can affect change. The more people I can show what I know and pave the way for them to create more than they possibly have in their lives, to create businesses that far outlive them, to be able to shift the wealth code for future generations, the more we get to change the world. It became very clear for me a long time ago when I first started celebrating my wins, and I'm talking like 2017, 2016 is the earliest post I could find where I was like really coming out of the closet and sharing my wins, that me not sharing would do you a great disservice. Because I remember having that person for myself. I was like, oh man, she looks like me and she's making millions. Because if you cannot witness the next level money and possibility that is available to you, you will never achieve it for yourself. You will never achieve it for yourself. I desire to see the success that is available for me. It is how I rise. A pop of possibility. oh shoot, that's simple. Okay, if that person's doing it, it's got to be possible for me too. I want to know that if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. So today and every day, I will celebrate, and I'll celebrate again. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. We're about 20 days into January, we crossed the 300K mark, and that's just sales, right? We're literally crossing that mark in cash too. So I'm waiting till the end, till the numbers come in, to really hone in what's happened this year, because it's different than the years before. Something in me there's a level of possibility that it's expanded, right? My desire is to have consistent $1 million months, not just consistent multiple six-figure months in cash and sales. Again, this is the only time I've ever been on track for my annual goal in January. And again, we'll talk about that in millions, because I'm going to show you my numbers over the years, month by month by month. I'm going to show you the processes we use. I'm going to show you the spreadsheets we use, how we track everything, why we track in the way that we track, that allows us to create rapid expansion when it comes to money in the business. And then also celebrating a freaking $1 million day. It's still crazy to me. I have to keep saying it over and over again to remind myself that in a 24-hour period of time, my company drove $1 million in sales. Time keeps collapsing. And as it does, I'm reminded of why I decided to do this work in the first place, to show people everywhere, to show you that anything, absolutely freaking anything is possible for all of us. There are no limits. There are no limits. So I want to encourage you to celebrate every freaking moment, no matter how small. Don't fall into the trap, right? The trap of, well, if I'm only celebrating a $20,000 a month and I help my clients make $1 million in a month, then people are going to think I'm a fraud. I had to learn to celebrate where I was before I ever got here. And now I get to celebrate being here. When I tried to pretend like I was further along than I was, and then I wouldn't celebrate, it's the gratitude that opens the way. It's like a magnet. Those celebrations, like being in that energy of gratitude, it's a powerful force. It's like magic. The more you celebrate, the more reasons you find to celebrate. The more you win, the more you win. Try it. I'm only doing this with 100 people. So my clients in my higher level containers have access, and then I'm only letting 100 people in. And this is not a joke. I think we're about 30 people away from hitting that 100. I'm pretty sure this class will sell out before the date that the class starts. Also, the price is increasing over time because I want you to learn how to make decisions quickly. There is a trade-off when you take time and pause. I just had a young lady join my Next Level Authority Masterclass. There is a lower investment because I like to reward people who are in the moment and ready to make decisions. She did end up paying more, right? So there is, in your life, as you're making decisions, there is a trade-off. There's a cost to moving slower. Now, you can choose to pay that cost. That's completely up to you. But I want my clients to trust themselves. I want you to trust the knowing that something is for you. And this is one of the ways that I can egg you along to do that, right? So instead of just coming right out and saying, hey, it's $500 to join this class, we've been just kind of stair-stepping the price point. And the longer you decide and wait and hang out, it'll be more, right? So this weekend, it went up to $222, which is where it is right now. And eventually it's going to end up being $555. And there is a possibility that we will sell out before you get there. And you'll know, because when you get there, you won't be able to buy a seat. So don't message us and say, it's not working. It's not working because it's no longer available. We're only bringing in 100 people. So I want to support you to simplify and expand your next level. I want you to expand into your next level, into a business dynasty with a really strong foundation that can generate $500,000, $1 million in a year, in a quarter, in a month, or in a day, because this kind of growth is possible for you too. Okay. So what I'm doing in Millions, I'm sharing my processes that helped me to get there, my thought processes, my belief systems that I anchor in, and the strategies that I've used that help me and my clients create these kind of results. Again, this is normally something that would only be open to clients who are paying me, upwards of $30,000 or more, right, to work with me. And what I wanted to do, because I've been incredibly blessed in the past couple of years with the way that my business has grown, is I want to give everybody in my community a rare look at everything I have done, especially in 2021, but actually over the past 4 years, to make $1 million months my new normal. I'm working on that, right? The ability to be able to do $1 million month anytime I decide. So I'm pulling back the curtain to my entire business and giving 100 people that front row access to how I make millions fast. Again, we're almost there. There's about 30 seats available. It's on February 8th. If you go to bit.ly/making millions, that's where you can secure your seat. You'll get to see how I package my offers, the pricing strategies I use, again, my finances, the mindset and personal power work, the leadership work that I use, the decisions I make day in and day out, and some of the mistakes that I made so that you can avoid them too and you don't accidentally sabotage your own success this year. And then I'm going to open up and we're going to have at least an hour of Q&A where you can ask me anything that you want to move yourself into whatever your next level is. It may not be millions for you. It just may be your first 6 figures, but I promise you what I'm going to share with you is even going to help you with that. Okay. So February 8th, it's $222. You will get lifetime access to the recording of it. So live attendance is not required. I would encourage you to attend live because you do get to ask your own questions and things are going to come up. Like, don't think you're going to see what you see everywhere else when you're inside of this container. Okay. So that's it for today. I wanted to share that with you. I just had some things in my heart. Like, this has been nagging me for some time. Sometimes I just want to talk to you guys. I want to put you in a room and let's just rap about what's going on in your head and like all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, you can't do that. Like, there's marketing that has to be done. There's all these things that need to be done. And more than anything, I want you to see what's possible for you. Like, when you look at me, if your thought is like, she's not making that much money, you need to be in this class, right? Because that was me. When I met the person who looked like me, who was doing it, I told her this. I said, I was definitely one of those people who was like, she's not making $1 million. I judged what making $1 million looked like. I judge who could make $1 million. And you may have some of those same undercurrents running in your own life and in your own business. I judge what $1 million business had to look like. I chose at a point in time in my life, I decided I no longer wanted to be $1 million business owner because I didn't want to sacrifice my life. I love living. I love spaciousness. I love all of those things. And so I'm like, $500,000 would be great. I settled. And so I want to show you how you cannot settle and you can have everything that you desire to have. It gets to be how you choose for it to be. Join me for Making Millions, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not going to stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.